A leaked video of Blake Lively joking about doing blackface just came out, and it is so hard to watch.
And I put bronzer all over myself in a Scary Spice fro, so I thought they would think I was like a black girl.
The internet keeps finding ways to dig Blake a deeper hole, and it won't stop. Blake Lively is having a truly terrible time in the spotlight.
What is the next 5 years of...
First, she faced intense backlash for accusing Justin Baldoni of workplace mistreatment, which sparked a massive suit from Justin in response. Now she's getting bad press from another thing from her past. An old video has resurfaced showing her making comments about pretending to be a black girl by piling on bronzer and rocking a Scary Spice fro.
And I put bronzer all over myself in a Scary Spice fro, so I thought they would think I was like a black girl.
Fans are cringing, calling the footage unbelievably tone deaf, especially in today's climate, where any hint of cultural insensitivity practically set social media crazy, okay?
See, he laughs at me. Well, I have
say one
no,
thing?
excuse me.
So this newly leaked clip dates back to Comic-Con 2006 when Blake, Jonah Hill, and Justin Long were promoting Accepted. In the video, she's trying to prove she's a geek by recalling a time that she and her friends stalked some arcade employees they had crushes on. Blake jokes that she disguised herself by darkening her skin and wearing a curly wig so that they think she was black. Cue audible gasps across the internet. Okay, now people are watching the clip, mouth open, wondering how on earth she thought it was okay to say that on camera, joking or not. Where is her team? Okay, naturally this all feels like it couldn't have come at a worse moment. Blake's been on the defense ever since Justin gave her a $4 million suit in January 2025. Now his claims include everything you could imagine, insisting that Blake was the real aggressor on It Ends With Us and tried to sabotage him behind the scenes. She of course denies it, framing herself as the victim who spoke up and got brought down for it. The public's reaction has been pretty mixed, but as more unflattering stories surface, like her hairstyle calling her dismissive or her so-called diva antics, Blake's version of events is starting to lose ground. Now, the blackface joke is yet another blow to her public image. It probably doesn't help that this isn't the first time folks have called Blake out on cultural insensitivity. Remember she captioned an Instagram photo, LA face with an Oakland booty, referencing a track that highlights stereotypical differences in body shapes and cultural contexts. That caused a debate over whether she was appropriating or trivializing certain communities. Then there was that preserved blog post about an allure of antebellum party, which critics said glamorized an era tied to poor treatment of marginalized people. And how can we forget that wedding with Ryan Reynolds at the worst venue ever? They eventually apologized, but the memory definitely stuck. It's telling that while Blake's past fiascos usually faded with time, she's under a magnifying glass now more than ever. Every little snippet or interview is being dug up, fueling this idea that she might not be that sweet, approachable star some fans assumed. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's side is probably sitting back letting the internet do its job, considering how fans are posting Team Baldoni comments left and right. They see each new negative tidbit about Blake as further proof that she's not as innocent as she claims. Sure, Blake has apologized in the past for certain missteps like the wedding, but this new blackface clip is especially jarring and there is no sign yet of any fresh apology. As if things weren't bad enough, Blake's going to have to juggle the fallout from this video with the ongoing suit drama. The internet has a long memory, and once a clip like this goes viral, it's nearly impossible to sweep under the rug. People are waiting to see if she'll attempt damage control or stay silent. If she's hoping the whole thing will blow over, that seems like a risky bet to take, right? I mean, I don't think people are gonna forget that quickly, especially with things going back to back to back to back. Now, the past has a habit of bubbling back to the surface, and right now, Blake is seeing that happen right in front of her face, and we're only gonna wait and see what she does next to either protect herself or take someone else down.
Blake Lively's comments are coming back in the news, and it isn't for a good reason. Her past reputation as one of the mean girls in Hollywood isn't doing her any favors right now. Blake Lively has long been admired for her quick wit, bold personality, unwavering confidence. Just ask her loyal fans. Or take a look at her hilarious online banter with her husband, Ryan Reynolds. But lately, her trademark sense of humor has been stopping at some serious roadblocks. One of the most talked about incidents revolves around an undated panel discussion clip that went viral on TikTok. In the video, video, Blake is seated next to her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester. While discussing some behind-the-scenes anecdotes, Blake cracks what she clearly intended as a joke. "Well, some of us started in a cage," she says, waving her hand in Leighton Meester's direction. The audience's reaction? Stunned silence and a few awkward chuckles. Blake, perhaps realizing the crowd's discomfort, quickly backpedaled, "Come on, it was a joke, Lord have mercy."
Come on, it was a joke.
Unfortunately, her attempts to patch things up only made people more uncomfortable. Onlookers in the room and later social media commentators expressed their disapproval, calling the comment tone-deaf and insensitive. The fact that Blake's joke was directed at Leighton Meester made it all the more jarring. So for those of you who don't know, Leighton Meester was actually born in a prison. So it was a pretty mean joke. According to executive producer Joshua Safran, who spilled the beans at a Vanity Fair interview, Blake and Leighton weren't exactly BFFs in real life despite playing best friends on screen. Sure, they weren't bitter enemies, but they definitely didn't share the same warm rapport fans might have hoped for. So you can imagine how uncomfortable it must have been for Leighton to stand by while Blake made jokes at her expense. It's one thing to exchange like friendly jabs with a long-term pal. It's another to target someone who you're not really close with. Fans quickly jumped in to call Blake's joke in bad taste, with many pointing out that humor doesn't always translate well between acquaintances, especially when it digs into personal struggles. The biggest issue with Blake's cage joke is its reference to Leighton Meester's unconventional background. Leighton was born to Constance Meester, who was incarcerated and serving time for some big things. Growing up, Leighton spent her early years under her grandmother's care. This background is no secret to longtime fans, but it's still a delicate subject. Bringing it up in an offhand joke, especially in a public way, it's not a good look. Many who witnessed the viral clip felt that Blake's comment trivialized Leighton's hardships, turning them into punchlines rather than showing any empathy. After the clip made its rounds, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram erupted with opinions. Some people posted saying that they'd never see Blake the same way again, while others argued that Blake was just trying to lighten the mood with some playful banter. Still, the overwhelming opinion leaned toward disapproval. A barrage of comments labeled Blake as insensitive, disrespectful, unfunny. The last thing you want when you already have rumors of on-set tension is to make a public fool of yourself that confirms everyone's suspicions. Yet here was Blake, caught on camera, making a remark about someone else's difficult childhood. The timing and the tone made it practically impossible for her to talk her way out of it. And this isn't the first time Blake has found herself in hot water over her words. Throughout 2024, multiple clips of her interviews have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's the way she discusses sensitive topics or her quick, flippant retorts to seemingly harmless questions, something about Blake's delivery rubs certain fans the wrong way. Another glaring example of Blake's commentary took place during a Vogue 73 Questions segment back in July 2014. The interviewer asked her which movie made her laugh the hardest, and Blake responded without batting an eyelash with Shawshank Redemption. Cue the collective record scratch. The 1994 classic is a famously gritty tale of wrongful imprisonment, friendship, corruption. It's hailed as one of the most emotionally stirring films of all time. Not exactly a laugh-out-loud romp. The interviewer seemed amused but quickly moved on. When the clip resurfaced on TikTok, though, fans weren't so forgiving.
Movie you laughed the hardest through?
Shawshank Redemption.
They questioned if Blake had actually watched the same movie or if she was just attempting some dry, sarcastic humor and completely missing the mark. Social media erupted once again. One user commented that Blake might have been pulling a Ryan Reynolds, known for his deadpan humor, but ultimately failed to deliver. Another person insisted that Blake was just trying to be ironic, but flubbed the execution. Another viewpoint argued that Blake might not have had an actual answer in mind and tossed out the first random little thing she could think of, trying to appear clever or edgy. Whatever her intentions, her response was negative, with some calling her blindsidedly pretentious, others rolling their eyes at what they saw as a clumsy attempt at humor. While Blake still has plenty of superfans, the growing thread on Reddit called her cringe, demonstrating a noticeable shift in how certain corners of the internet perceive her. Some people said she's always been this way but flew under the radar because the media loved her. Now with multiple clips surfacing, people are revisiting past interviews, discovering more instances where her jokes may have landed awkwardly. Many argue that it's fine to have a sense of humor after all, it's part of what made her so likable, but you have to know when to pivot and show respect, especially around heavy topics like incarceration and other things that shouldn't be taken lightly. The scrutiny over her comedic style also comes to a head with her recent press tour for It Ends With Us. The movie tackles heavy themes, yet Blake seemed more focused on flaunting her new healthcare line, Blake Brown Beauty, and gushing about the film's fashion. Fans felt that downplaying the serious elements of the story was another example of Blake's disconnect. A contingent of viewers and readers voiced dismay, saying she had trivialized a serious subject in favor of self-promotion. Celebrity celebrity journalist Kirsty Flav recently posted a video titled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job," garnering over 3 million views and stirring considerable buzz. The footage, taken in 2016 during an interview for Cafe Society, left watchers with a negative taste in their mouth. The tension began when Kirsty attempted to compliment Blake's pregnancy, saying, "First off, congrats on your little bump." Blake responded with a curt "congrats on your little bump," gesturing towards Kirsty.
Congrats on your little bump.
Making matters more awkward, Parker Posey, also present for the interview, asked, "What about my bump?" as she pointed to her backside.
What about my bump?
The two actresses spent much of the remaining time conversing with each other, barely acknowledging Kirsty. Their behavior struck viewers as mean-spirited rather than entertaining. Kirsty visibly struggled with the uncomfortable exchange. Nonetheless, she maintained her professionalism. Speaking with the Daily Mail, Kirsty admitted, "It hurts because I obviously wasn't pregnant and I could never get pregnant." Another moment involved Blake using a word she shouldn't have been using while chatting with Elle about the possibility of having daughters, saying she wants her kids to appreciate shoes, bags, and stories. The comment garnered a wave of online criticism. Meanwhile, rumors of a feud between Blake and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni have gained momentum. Justin, who both directed and starred in the film, raised eyebrows when he skipped all press appearances with his castmates and steered clear of the red carpet alongside Blake. Justin has reportedly hired Melissa Nathan, the crisis PR manager known for her work with Johnny Depp, during his court battle against Amber Heard. Insiders claim Blake and Justin clashed over creative choices. Reports suggested Blake and her husband Ryan brought in an editor to assemble their preferred vision of the film, which apparently became the final cut. Rumors also circulated that Blake accused Justin of weird on-set conduct, but neither party has publicly addressed these claims. According to sources speaking to the Daily Mail, Blake is worried about her career following the continuous missteps she's had. Rumor has it she believed her new role would be her moment to shine, but now fears it could derail her career. Blake is definitely upset by the backlash. She thought this was her big opportunity, but now she worries it could end everything, said one insider. She's concerned nobody will want to work with her after this. The source added that Blake hopes to keep producing, directing, acting, but intends to pause and reconsider her next steps.
Blake Lively is getting exposed for bad behavior because of some leaked audio, and it is so wild.
A voicemail from Justin Baldoni talking about how Blake Lively sent he and his entire family into the basement.
I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour.
Justin is trying to spin everything to make himself a victim now. This is a huge turn of events because, at first, Blake Lively was getting all the support. Now Justin Baldoni appears to be winning in the public eye. The increasingly dramatic feud between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken yet another eye-opening twist. An alleged audio clip revealed by Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman is now circulating among fans and media outlets.
I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast.
Prompting new questions about who really holds the moral high ground and who may be spinning the narrative behind the scenes. Rumors that Blake and Justin weren't exactly besties began swirling during the film's promotional tour last year. Observers noticed that the two stars never took photos together, avoided each other during interviews, and spoke about the film as if they were working on separate projects. While tension isn't uncommon in Hollywood, the situation escalated in a major way when the New York Times published a report alleging that Justin orchestrated a targeted smear campaign against Blake, complete with accusations of on-set mistreatment. Soon afterward, Blake filed an official lawsuit, asserting that Justin not only slandered her, but also said weird stuff to her during production.
Blake Lively is taking legal action against Justin Baldoni.
For those who admired the two actors' previous work, Justin's directorial ventures, and Blake's beloved performances, it was a revelation that felt jarring. Adding to the drama, Justin promptly responded with his own legal action, arguing that the Times had published false and defamatory claims.
Justin Baldoni sues the New York Times for $250 million.
Against this backdrop, Friedman released the so-called smoking gun, an audio clip capturing Justin's account of the It Ends With Us premiere.
Think about this on what, could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise.
In the recording, Justin conveys deep disappointment at being relegated to the sidelines on what should have been a triumphant night. According to his remarks, Blake allegedly had him removed from the main event area for over an hour, forcing him to hang out in the basement with his friends and family. On what could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise, I was sent to the basement with all my friends and family. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. These words paint an image of a star who felt deliberately shunned, offering a perspective that clashes sharply with the narrative that Justin was the aggressor. For Friedman, this moment is critical. He claims it serves as proof that Justin was the one being excluded, calling into question Blake's version of events. Unsurprisingly, Blake's representatives have shown no sign of backing down. To them, the audio clip is merely a sideshow designed to shift focus away from what they view as very real allegations of misconduct. In their view, the recording, whether authentic or taken out of context, doesn't address the core issues of what she is talking about that Blake's lawsuit highlights. For Blake's legal team, the fundamental matter remains the alleged pattern of disrespect and intimidation she encountered on set. The question, they argue, isn't whether Justin felt snubbed during a premiere, but whether he engaged in behavior that crossed professional and personal boundaries. As news of the leaked audio spreads, fans and social media commenters are weighing in. Some see it as validation that Justin was the actual victim, pointing out that feeling marginalized or publicly humiliated can be really taxing. Others suspect it's all part of a carefully orchestrated counteroffensive, with the audio's release timed to derail Blake's claims. After all, if the public starts focusing on the premiere incident, they might pay less attention to the more serious accusations she's made. Because this is not your typical Hollywood clash. There are big money lawsuits, reputations at stake, and sensitive allegations on the table. The tension surrounding Blake and Justin's dispute has become a full-blown spectacle. Every new piece of evidence, from leaked text messages to alleged audio recordings, draws the spotlight further onto how these two stars interacted on set and off. With the legal proceedings far from over, each side is racing to win in the court of public opinion. Whether this audio ultimately shifts the case or simply adds more noise remains to be seen.